Hello and welcome to the 30th day of our 100-day challenge. Today we are going to conclude our geography section with the focus on Indian geography. We have already taken up 90 questions in our 9 challenges about Indian geography. You can download these files from our website and you can watch these explanations on our YouTube channel. And we have already covered the freedom struggle, the modern Indian history in our first 10 challenges, and then the other 10 challenges were dedicated to the polity section. And after the completion of geography section, we are going to move on to art and culture, and then subsequently to the current affairs section. So for today, the 10 topics are types of soils in India, the basalt formation and the soil health card, the nitrogen pollution issue in context of India, the carbon cycle and its effects, and the isobars, the problem of green revolution, the types of precipitations, the farmer suicide, this issue of farmer suicides in India and how it can be solved, and the alluvial soil profile. So you can read the NCRTs or any standard material for these references, and some of the questions are also in the context of the current affairs, recent current affairs of 1 and 2 years. So we'll take up these MCQs now. Which of the following is are true about the alluvial soils? If you remember, we have taken up the video challenge about in our previous MCQ about the Oxbow Lakes, the formation of Oxbow Lakes in the meandering river valleys. So there was this the role of alluvial soil was very important in the formation of Oxbow Lakes because they are very fine particle soil and they are very fertile. They are found in both northern India, eastern India, and also in the deltas of southern peninsular rivers like Krishna and Godavari. So first, let's read the options first. They are not found in eastern India. This is incorrect, obviously, because they are found in the deltas of the east flowing Ganga and Brahmaputra, the Gangetic and Brahmaputra deltas. They are rich in potash, phosphoric acid, and lime. This option is correct. They are very rich in all these nutrients. And while this laterite soil is heavily leached, we have taken up one MCQ regarding the laterite soil. So the laterite soil of Kerala and Karnataka, due to the heavy weathering by the rainfall, so it is leached, and these kind of elements are absent. The lime and phosphate are absent from laterite soil. So, but the alluvial soil is very rich. They are ideal for the growth of sugarcane and rice, and these are alluvial soils are one of the most fertile soils. So the first option is not correct because they are found in North India, Eastern India, as well as the peninsular India in the deltas of uh, rivers like Mahanadi and Krishna. So first option is wrong. Second option is correct. Third option is also correct. So answer would be C, 2 and 3. Alluvial soils are the most widely spread and important soils. In fact, the entire northern plain are made up of alluvial soils. This Gangetic Yamuna Ganga plain is made up of alluvial soil. It's highly fertile and highly populous. That's why these have been deposited by three important Himalayan river systems. The Indus we have taken up in our previous video. The tributaries of Indus, the role of Indus, and how it flows through the state of Jammu and Kashmir, the Gangas and Brahmaputra. These soils also extend to Rajasthan and Gujarat through a narrow corridor. So alluvial soils is also found in the eastern coastal plains, particularly in the deltas of Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri rivers. So these rivers of southern peninsula, they also form deltas in which this alluvial soil is there. It is deposited because of the flow of water flow, and the weathering of rocks by this water flow of river. So these river deltas also contain significant proportion of alluvial soils. Then the alluvial soil as a whole are very fertile. Mostly these soils contain adequate proportion of potash, phosphoric acid. In the upcoming MCQ, we are going to see why the application of high nitrogenous fertilizer to our soil has led to many problems, especially the absence of focus on the other nutrients like potash. So for the time being, let's read the explanation. Mostly these soils contain adequate proportion of potash, phosphoric acid, lime, which are ideal for the growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat, and other cereal and pulse crops. Due to its high fertility, the region of alluvial soils are intensely cultivated and densely populated. So they are cultivated intensely and they are populated densely. Yamuna Ganga Gangetic Delta is one of the most populous regions of the world just because of these highly fertile alluvial soil deposits. Now let's move on to question number second. Consider the following statements in context of nitrogen cycle. So this is about the destruction of this nitrogen cycle due to the excessive man-made activities. Let's read the options first. The sewage is the prime source of nitrogen pollution in India. Second option is ammonia concentration in the atmosphere over India is negligible. First option is wrong. It is the basically the most the prime factor of nitrogen, excessive nitrogen is the farming and cattle rearing activity, not the sewage. Sewage comes the second. So the first and most prominent issue regarding the nitrogen pollution, the excess production of nitrogen, the source is the farming activity, not the sewage. Second is ammonia concentration in the atmosphere is over India is this is absolutely wrong because ammonia concentration is among the highest over the atmosphere of India. And second one is the China because of the increased activities of cattle rearing. So both the options are incorrect. Let's read more about this recent issue of nitrogen pollution. The farming is the main source of nitrogen pollution in India, followed by the sewage and organic solid waste. So this ammonia concentration in atmosphere over India is highest in world due to the cattle production and excessive fertilizer use. So both these main reasons, that is cattle population and the excessive fertilizer use, they are contributing to the excess ammonia concentration over the atmosphere of India, and this is going to pose future climatic hazards to our country. So this should be a key issue of current affairs also. International Nitrogen Initiative, INI, it is an international program set up in 2003 under sponsorship of the Scientific Committee on Problems of Environment, means scope, and from the International Geosphere Biosphere Program, IGBP. So these two institutions have set up this international nitrogen initiative which optimizes the nitrogen's beneficial role in sustainable food production. So they are going to look after all these kind of issues. They are going to highlight the nitrogen pollution, and they are going to uh, highlight the steps which can be taken so as to control this nitrogen pollution of atmosphere and the land. That was about the nitrogen pollution. It was kind of unique question. You can expect these kind of questions in UPSC. This nitrogen pollution, the main reason is cattle rearing and the use of fertilizer. So consider both of these, cattle rearing and use of fertilizer, that refers to the farming and agriculture industry. That's why the farming is the main source of nitrogen pollution. So consider the following statements about soil health card. This health card is being issued. Initially, it was issued by the state governments, but this central government took steps to unify this and utilize this opportunity to highlight the nutritional strength of different soils, so as the farmers already know what kind of fertilizers they should use, and it has nothing to do with the other schemes. It is just a soil health card. UPSC has asked previous question. Some confusing options were there regarding the soil health card and its capabilities. So basically it is a crop wise recommendation of nutrients and fertilizers. Let's look at the options. It will carry crop wise recommendations of nutrients and fertilizers. This is correct, and this will help the farmers because we have seen that in the issues of having excessive use of nitrogenous fertilizers, there is a degradation of land. So this soil health card, what it is going to do is it is going to recommend the crop wise recommendations, the appropriate amount of fertilizer, whether it is to be used and how much has to be used on the field. Second one is it will compensate the crop losses during the drought or flood. Crop losses being covered by the insurance schemes like Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, not by this kind of soil health card. It is only just a card of representing the health of the soil and what nutrients are present and absent. So let's read the explanation. Second option is incorrect. So answer would be A, one only. Soil Health Card Scheme launched by the central government in February 2015. The scheme is tailor made to issue soil cards to farmers, which will carry the crop wise recommendations of nutrients and fertilizer required for the individual farms. This is aimed to help farmers to improve productivity through judicious use of inputs. Some states are already using soil health card, but it was found that there was no uniform. So as to issue the uniformity, this union government came up with the soil health card scheme in 2015 Feb, and some states are already this. There was no uniform norms of sampling and testing and distribution of soil health card across the states. The government is effectively marching in quite ambitiously for a grand success of soil health card scheme, and proposes to ensure that all farmers in the country have their respective soil health cards by year 2017. So this was about the soil health card, and it's what are the contents and how much it can cover. It definitely does not cover the insurance of crops or any crop loss. And fourth question is with reference to the isobars. Iso means uniform, bar it refers to the pressure unit. So isobars means those lines which a line or area which is having the similar pressure. So which of the following statement is are correct? They represent stational pressure readings reduced to the sea level. Yes, there these in order to make the this readings of pressure accountable and useful, we have to reduce it to the some uniform scale. For example, the sea level is the best scale, so this isobars, these pressure readings are calculated and adjusted for the sea level. So second option is isobar cannot determine the location of weather producing disturbances. This is the detection of weather producing disturbances and changes in weather, changes in weather are the main component, the main utility of isobars. If the concentration of isobars is so steep, that means that there are chances of cyclones, wind flows, heavy turbulences. So definitely isobars determine the location of weather producing disturbances. Second option is not correct. First option is correct. So answer would be A. Let's know more about these isobars and the utility. So on the surface maps, isobars represent the stational pressures readings reduced to the, so they are adjusted to the sea level to eliminate the effects of difference in heights of reporting stations. Some stations can be located well above the sea level and some can be very near to sea level, so as to eliminate the differences, the effects of difference of these heights. They are reduced to and adjusted to the sea level pressure recording. The pressure is usually given as hectopascals or millibars. So are the most as the most people know them. So isobar determine the location and intensity of weather producing disturbances, the lows, the highs, the drops, the ridges. So the center of each system is indicated by the central value and surrounding pressure ingredient. So we can see this is the high and the other surrounding reasons are there. For cyclones, there has to be an eye of low, not the high. So we have taken up one MCQ regarding the cyclones, and especially in context of India, how these tropical cyclones are different from temperate cyclones of Russia, and how they can create a havoc in Indian subcontinent and coastal areas. So this isobar is an important characteristic and important tool to measure the formation of those cyclones. Let's move on to question number 5. Which of the following is are related to the second generation? The problems of green revolution. The problem of green revolution in this generation are definitely the excessive fertilizer, the deterioration of soil, and the inadequate amount of fertilizers used. So let's read the options first. The ignorance in the application of potash that we have discussed already in the video. Yes, because of the green revolution, there was a focus excessive on the use of nitrogenous fertilizer. Second option is also correct. The nutrient removal by intensive cropping. Yes, if there is an intensive cropping which happened after the second revolution, that is going to harm the sustainable nutrient retention of the soil of the local area. So that is going to definitely disrupt the nutrient enrichment process, and due to the intensive frequency of the cropping. So all the options seem correct. Let's read more about the problems of green revolution, the non-sustainable problems. Constant decline in the soil fertility status, mainly due to the nutrient removal by intensive cropping systems, is among far exceeding their replenishment through the fertilizers and manures during the past few decades. So, although after green revolution they tried to replenish this soil nutrient by fertilizers and manures, but the balance got disturbed. It considered as one of the serious second generation problems of green revolution. Farmers often use nitrogenous fertilizers, mostly urea, or nitrogenous or complex fertilizers, mostly urea and DAP, ignoring the application of potash and other deficiencies. So there is a need to balance these application of fertilizers, especially in context of nitrogen. We need to control the excessive nitrogen applied to the soil. On the other hand, multi-nutrient deficiencies have already emerged and explained in most of the soils. Then we have taken up an MCQ regarding the millet production in India and how it can be millets can be cultivated without the use of heavy fertilizers. So the if the question also demands that the millet production can cure to some extent the damages done by the green revolution, that will also be correct. So, on the other hand, multi-nutrient deficiencies have already emerged and expanded in most of the soils. Soil analysis under the different projects revealed widespread deficiencies at least six nutrients, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, sulfur, zinc, and boron. These are different parts of these are the ill effects of this green revolution in the different parts of the country. They are being depleted of these at least three nutrients which are very important for the soil. These are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash, sulfur, zinc, and boron. So there is kind of deficiency of all these nutrients. Some diagnostic survey carried out in the rice wheat growing areas of northwestern India revealed that farmers often apply greater than recommended rates of nitrogen to sustain the yields high level that were attained earlier with even less used fertilizers. So that's the issue. And this is All India Full Mock Prelims Test Series 2018. We are going to conduct 5 full mock tests related to GS paper 1 in the month of April and May. This is absolutely free. We are going to conduct in both classroom and online modes. For classroom, the seats are limited. That is, only 200 people will be admitted to our classroom program. You will be provided with the answer keys and explanation and printed material. This test series is for free, so if you are in Delhi, you can utilize the opportunity so as to evaluate yourself before the prelims. Uh, in context of this prelims test series, if you want to register, you can mail us and you can contact on the phone numbers given in the website for more details. The seats are limited, guys, so it will be served on first come first serve basis. So you should register earliest at the earliest. So let's move on to question number 6. Which of the following is not true about the hailstorm? So the it is a form of solid precipitation. Yes, this is correct. It is formed within most thunderstorms. Yes, the hail formation is when there is a sudden solid precipitation. Cirrus clouds, uh, cumulonimbus clouds are responsible, not the cirrus clouds. So third option is wrong. All are correct is not correct. So this hail is a form of solid precipitation. It is distinct from the ice pellets or sleet. So there are, we are going to discuss all 4 types of this precipitation through the though the two are often confused, the hail is possible within most thunderstorms as it produced by the cumulonimbus cloud. It consists of balls of irregular lumps of ice, each of which is called as hailstone. So each single ball is called as hailstone, and ice pellet sleets falls generally in the cold weather, while hail growth is greatly inhibited during the cold surface temperature. So this is sudden under the thunderstorms. The hails are related to the forms when the drops of rain freeze and a strong wind carries them. So this is kind of phenomena associated with the thunderstorms. While sleet is the rain that freezes. So it often happens. This sleet happens in the colder areas of rainfall. And the snow is that falls when the temperature in the cloud is below freezing, and rain is as well. We know that precipitation, the most common form. Let's move on to question number 7. Which of the following can be helpful in reducing the farmer suicides in India? So any step which is going to provide with some relief to the farmers, their stability, then securing the productivity of the farmland, they all are going to contribute in the reduction of farmer suicides. Let's read these options. They are definitely easy. Setting up the village knowledge centers that will enhance the knowledge about the farming and their livelihood. Promoting aquifer recharge and rainwater conservation, often faced by the conditions of drought, the farmers are losing their cropland, and that becomes one of the reason why farmers are prompted towards suicides. Ensuring availability of quality seeds, that is definitely true. Quality seeds will enhance the productivity of the farmland. Providing affordable health insurance to the farmers in case of illness, sickness, so that option is also going to reduce the farmer suicide. These are all recommendations of Santa Kumar committee, which was established to inquire into the farmer suicide. So let's read all the recommendation of Santa Kumar committee, and the name is also important. If they ask you the name which committee was appointed for looking into the farmer suicide, then you should write that Santa Kumar committee gave recommendations. So all are correct. These are the parts of recommendation of Santa Kumar Committee on Prevention of Farmer Suicides. It includes the following steps, that is to provide affordable health insurance and revitalize primary health care centers. That is going to reduce the incidences of farmer suicides. That is going to take care of the health of the farmers and their families. The National Rural Health Mission should be extended to suicide hotspots. So identification of hot suicide hotspot like Vidarbha, the cotton growing area of India, has to be done and locations on priority basis. Set up the state level farmers commission with representations of farmer for ensuring dynamic government responses to farmers problem. Then restructure microfinance policies to serve the livelihood finance, that is the credit coupled with the support of services in the areas of technology, management and market. So there has to be restructuring of microfinance policies and how you are going to finance the livelihood of the farmers. They cover all the crops, all crop by crop insurances with the village and not blocked as unit. So village level coverage and village level insurance has to be done, not the block as the unit, because access the movement to the block and accessing these kind of insurance policies will be difficult for the farmers who are mostly engaged in farming in their own village. So this was the recommendation to move this insurance of crop to the village level, and provide for a social security net with provisions of old age support and health care. Then promote aquifer recharge and rainwater conservation. Decentralize water use planning, and every village should aim at Jal Swaraj. That is the Jal Swaraj with Gram Sabhas. Gram Sabhas, we have taken up one MCQ regarding Gram Sabha in our polity subsection. If you remember, the Gram Sabha constitutes all the members eligible to vote in the elections. So all the adult members constitute the Gram Sabha. Uh, let's resume the question. The Jal Swaraj with Gram Sabhas serving as the Pani Panchayat ensure the availability of quality seeds and other inputs at affordable cost and at right time and place. Set up the village knowledge centers, VKCs, and Gyan Chaupals in the farmers' distress hotspots. These can provide dynamic and demand-driven information on all aspects of agriculture and non-farming livelihoods, and also serve as guidance centers. So the public awareness campaigns can make people identify early signs of suicidal behavior. So this public awareness is also important in case of if we want to reduce and contain the incidences of farmer suicides. Which of the following is true about the basalt? It is formed by the volcanic activity. So it is common intrusive igneous rock. This is extrusive because it is formed outside the crust. So it is the extrusive rock formed by the volcanic, or it is of volcanic origin. First one is wrong. It can be found in the oceanic tectonic plates. This is true because of these basalts are of the extrusive character, that is they are formed by volcanoes, and we have already taken up significant proportions of our questions regarding the oceanic tectonic plates and mid-oceanic ridges and the sea floor spreading conception. So concept of sea floor spreading. So second option is correct while first is wrong. Let's have a look at the basalt and its origin. Basalt is a common extrusive rock that is of volcanic origin and formed from the rapid cooling of basalt lava exposed at a very near of the surface of the a planet or the moon. So it can be found on the moons and satellites of the planets also. Flood basalt describes the formation of a series of lava basalt flows. The crustal proportion of oceanic tectonic plates are composed predominantly of basalt produced from upwelling mantle below and the oceanic ridges. So this was about the basalt, and we have taken up the MCQs, different MCQs regarding the three types of rocks: the igneous rocks, the metamorphic rocks, and the sedimentary rocks, and their origins. So this question was also in the connection of these three types of rocks as well. Let's move on to ninth question. Which of the following are true about carbon cycle? The largest human impact on the carbon cycle is through the burning of fossil fuels. This is correct because these fossil fuels, the petroleum, the use of petroleum and the burning of fossil fuel, that is creating a lot of CO2 and disrupting the carbon cycle, ultimately giving rise to the global warming because of the high retention power of CO2 of the heat waves. That's why, so all these are connected. The burning of fossil fuel is the main reason of this largest contribution of humans to the carbon cycle. Climate change does not affect the carbon cycle significantly. Climate change also affects the carbon cycle. So definitely it is going to affect the carbon cycle because the if the climate changes, the cycle is, all the cycles including the nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, they are going to be disrupted. Different absorbing properties of different sinks, they are going to be disrupted. There is going to be loss of biodiversity and loss of vegetation, which will ultimately impact the how the carbon is being absorbed by the plants. So second option is not correct while first option is correct, so answer would be A. Let's read more about this carbon cycle. The largest human impact on the carbon cycle is through the direct emission of burning fossil fuels, which transfers carbon from the geosphere into the atmosphere. The rest of this increase is caused by mostly by the changes in land use, particularly deforestation. The another direct human impact on the carbon cycle is the chemical process of calcination of limestone for clinker production, which releases the CO2. So clinker is an industrial precursor of cement. So this clinker is important in cement production, which is ultimately releasing the CO2, a lot of CO2 into the atmosphere. That is also worrisome. And humans also influence the carbon cycle indirectly by changing the terrestrial and oceanic biosphere. So this kind of climatic change of terrestrial and oceanic biosphere is also going to impact the carbon cycle. Over the past several centuries, direct and indirect human caused land use and land coverage changes has led to the loss of biodiversity, again related to the biodiversity loss and climate change, which lowers the ecosystem's resilience to environment stresses and decreases their ability to remove the carbon from atmosphere. Definitely if the loss of biodiversity is there, the ability to absorb the carbon from atmosphere is going to reduce. So all these are contributing factors to the increasing volume of CO2 in our atmosphere. Last question is about the black soil and the reasons of Deccan are rich in black soil. They are formed uh, by the weathering of the basalt type of rocks. So this, let's read the options related to the black soils. They are also known as rigor soil. This is correct. The black soil is also known as rigor soil in India. This type of soil is found in basalt region, the the Deccan traps, and they are poor in capacity to hold moisture. Third option is not correct because they have excellent moisture holding capability, and this will discuss as. So these types of soil is found in the basalt region. Because of the weathering of these kind of rocks, they will it will give rise to the this black soil. And the third option is not correct because they are excellent in holding the moisture. That's why they are critical for the production of crops like cotton. So third option is not correct. First and second are correct. Let's know more about the black soil. Black soils are black in color and also known as rigor soils. So this black soil is ideal for growing cotton and is also known as black cotton soil. It is believed that climatic conditions along with the parent rock materials are important factors. So these climatic conditions and parent rock materials are important factors for the formation of black soil. So the basalt is basically behind the formation of black soil, and the climatic conditions in these physical weathering factors. We have taken up the MCQs regarding chemical and physical weathering in our previous video. So what we have to do is we have to link each and every concept, especially in the scientific portions like geography, in which everything is connected. So this weathering, the physical and chemical weathering, is responsible for the formation of different types of soils. Let's read the explanation. This type of soil is typical of the Deccan Traps, the basalt region, spread over northwest Deccan Plateau and is made of basically the areas of Gujarat and Maharashtra. Region spread over northwest Deccan Plateau and is made up of lava flows. So the black soils are made up of extremely fine clay material. So this material is of black soil is extremely fine. That's why their moisture retention capacity is very excellent. So if you have been to this Maharashtra or Gujarat and you have encountered these black soils, if you pour the water on this black soil, you will see the formation of clay. Very fine material is there in the black soil. So you will often see children playing with the clays in the areas of where the cotton is being cultivated. So this is the reason, because of these black soils are extremely fine in their character. Their granules are very fine. They are well known for the capacity to hold moisture, and once if you form the clay from black soil, it is going to hold the moisture for many days. In addition, they are rich in the soil nutrients such as calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash, lime. These soils are generally poor in phosphoric content. So this was about the black soil, guys. So this concludes our 10 MCQs related to the 100-day challenges of geography, and this also concludes our geography section of, and this was the 30th day of our 100-day challenge. Stay tuned with us for more such MCQ challenges. They will definitely going to benefit you in your prelims 2018, and have a good day.